one of our own, Mike Turner, did a baseball package.
CU on the pitch. CU Sports Mag right now. Welcome to CU Sports Mag. I'm David LaRose, sitting alongside Andy McDonald. The Buffs football team got their first taste of Pac-10 action this weekend against Cal. Let's go ahead and roll those highlights.
Well, CU went to Berkeley to face a future Pac-12 foe. And Cal scored early and often. Kevin Riley here throws to Shane Vereen to get his one paw in. That's all you need in college for the touchdown. 7-0 Cal Bears. Here we go with Tyler Hansen, drops back in shotgun and completes a pass to Kyle Cefalo for 11-yard gain, moving the Buffs to midfield. But Cal's defense was on a mission today. Michael Kendricks lays the lumber on CU quarterback Hansen. The very next play, Jared Price gets on the act by sacking Hansen and forcing a fumble. Kendrick recovered the fumble at great field position. Cal got the ball outside the 30 and only needs 6 plays to put it in the end zone. Here to Marvin Jones from Riley. Cal 21-0 after 1 quarter. Hansen's forced out and throws a wobbling duck up for grabs. And who else but none other than Bryant Nafabi was on the ball and recovered it to the 21. But this time, John Major and the CU Buffs held strong, only giving up a field goal. Shane Vereen took full advantage of a tired defense and punched it into the end zone from 3 yards out. Finally, Hansen is given time in the pocket and throws a bullet to Michigan transfer Tony Clemens. He scampers up the sidelines for a 24-yard gain before stepping out at the 26. This could have been more, but he touched the chalk. Hansen drops back and finds Ryan Walters on a check down in the flats in first and goal Buffs. Hansen drops back and can't find anybody, but Michael Bear is there. Rumbling, bumbling, Summit inside the 2. A missed field goal and a pick 6 was 31 Cal at the half.
On the second possession of the second half, Hansen is trying to get the offense going with a 14-yard jaunt into Cal's red zone, which set up first and goal from the 9-yard line. Hansen would cap the drive off by getting flushed from the pocket, evades the Mike linebacker, and dives into the end zone, getting the Buffs on the board for the first time in the game. In the fourth quarter, Cal would continue to pile on with a TD pass to number 21, Keenan Allen, for a 38-7 lead. On the ensuing drive, Hansen drops back to pass and heaves the ball deep down the sideline, but right into the hands of Cal Steve Williams for one of 3 Hansen picks on the day. After the turnover, Riley would continue his career day with his 4th TD toss of the day, this one to Icy Sofili. To cap off the rough day with 30 seconds left, Hansen passes to Ryan Dehan, who bobbles and fumbles the ball right into the waiting arms of Darian Hagan, who then beats Tony Clemens down the sideline to finish off the beating. And 52-7 is your score.
Man, that guy's fast.
He's pretty quick. So 52-7 Cal, Hansen, 3 picks.
Riley a career high with 4 touchdowns, going for 15 for 24 with 197 yards.
Folsom Field might be awfully quiet this Saturday, a week after a 52-7 Buffs loss at Cal. There are more than 10,000 tickets yet to be sold for this weekend's game. This is rather unusual, seeing as it is the Buffs' first home game in 2010. For students who have waited until the last minute, you can get tickets at cubuffs.com. Tickets come in a package deal, 4 for $60. Kickoff is this Saturday at 1:30 p.m.
This season, Colorado football will be celebrating their 1990 national championship team. Alfred Williams, a key part of that team, will be honored at halftime against Hawaii. In December, the former All-American will be the 5th Buff inducted into the College Football Hall of Fame. Former coach Bill McCartney described his play as, when he was at his best, he was the best. When he wanted it bad, look out, you couldn't keep him out of that backfield. His talent awarded him the Butkus Award as the nation's top linebacker and led the Buffs to the Orange Bowl win over powerhouse Notre Dame 10-9.
This weekend's celebration for Alfred Williams' induction into the College Football Hall of Fame brings us to this week's trivia question. Who was the first player to be inducted into the College Football Hall of Fame for the University of Colorado? We'll give you the answer up later in the show, and don't forget to be sure to vote online at cusportsmag.com. Up next, go ahead.
Up next, CU Sports Mag will see volleyball fared against the home opener against Big 12 opener against Oklahoma.
And there's the men's CU soccer team against CSU on the pitch. We'll have those highlights coming up next on CU Sports Mag. forgot that was scripted.
Yeah, I did too. I thought you were going to start it too.
Oh, that's right. I was supposed
That's
to.
fine. We're good. It's not a big deal.
Oh, well.
Who cares?
Help children. Whatever you can do, in whatever time you have, you can make a difference. To learn how you can help in your community, reach us at this web address and number. We're fighting for the children. Whose side are you on?
Change. It's coming faster. Only those with high-tech skills will excel.
Power, Spear 1-1, holding short of 1-6.
I'm getting those skills now in the Air Force. It's given me powerful tools, education, training, and experience. With Air Force skills, I can keep up with tomorrow's changes, and so can you.
CSU rivalry was renewed on the pitch last weekend when the men's club soccer teams went head-to-head in the Rocky Mountain College Cup. After the CSU women won Game 1, it was the guys' turn to square off at Dick's Sporting Goods Park. The Buffs had an early chance here as the ball is crossing the box, number 23, Connor Hutchinson, but doink! Off the post, but remember his name, you'll see him again. Later in the first half, CSU would not be undone, creating 2 chances of their own, barely missing a cross here. And then CSU, once again, hey guys, look what I found. He launches a rocket off the crossbar and is deflected back to a CU defender. Moments later, Ryan Zubizarreta serves a wicked cross to the back post, and who finds it? None other than Mr. Hutchinson himself, who puts it in the back of the net to give the Buffs a 1-0 advantage that quiets the Rams faithful. Moving to the second half, with CU up 2-0 now, the ball finds Ben Stump, who chips it over the CSU goalkeeper for his second goal on the night, which makes the score 3-0 in the 80th minute. CSU would try and try again, but CU's goalie, Cameron Mirabandini, turned them away time after time, keeping his clean sheet. CU wins 3-0. Buffs claim victory to the Rocky Mountain College Cup, winning with an aggregate score of 4-2.
The women's volleyball team hosted the 8-3 Oklahoma Sooners to start off Big 12 play. There's Susie Boloveski that warmed up with a kill, but CU Nicole Lindo had an answer right back. There's BEA beautiful set from number 9 Alyssa Valentine to Kara Schroeder to get her night started with a bang, but Sarah Friedenrich was there with the response, putting the Buffs away 25-15. Sally McLaurin keeps the Sooners in the game by finding the soft spot in the Buffs D. Not to be outdone, the Buffs have their own version of the give and go. Rochelle Bigelow with the kill. Then Ancia Santos gets in the mix with one of her 7 kills. But Sally McLaurin and the Sooners squeezed out Game 2, 25-23. The third game was a lot of the same, but Kara Schroeder, the CU's leader, was determined as ever and was not going to let the Sooners off so easy. Right on cue, Schroeder with one of her team-leading 11 kills. In the end, Susan Boloveski in the OU was just too good and finished the Buffs in a clean sweep, 3-0.
CU women's soccer has an exciting weekend ahead as the Buffs host the Omni Hotel Resort. Hosts the Omni Hotel's Colorado Soccer Classic on Prentup Field this Friday and Sunday. The 3 rival teams will join the Buffs. Sorry, 1 second. 3 rival teams will join the Buffs, Denver University, UCLA, and Purdue University. CU boasts a 14-2 record in home tournament games since 2002, and they are off to a good start this season with 2 home victories already under their belts. The Buffs will count on goals from their 2 leading scorers, Kim Lowry and Haley Hughes, to protect their home field.
When we come back, we'll have Luke Rosemeyer and Adi Streetman on the double team set talking a little bit about CU sports.
Actually,
Sorry about that, David.
fine.
That's my bad.
After a standout performance at last weekend's Gonzaga tournament, CU midfielder Kate Russell received all tournament honors, which was good enough to make her CU Sports Mag's Athlete of the Week. Russell led the Buffs in shots against Gonzaga and also had 2 assists against Washington. She currently leads the Buffs in shots with 16 on the season. Russell has been a regular contributor for Colorado since 2008, as she has started every game since she was a freshman. Russell hopes to continue to be an asset to CU this season.
All right, now when we come back, we'll have Luke Rosemeyer and Adi Streetman on the double team desk talking a little different CU sports.
And Sports Mag's Mike Kerner caught up with the club baseball team when we return.
Let's sit down for a second, okay, sweetie?
Hey, Kayla, there's Mary from your class.
Hi, Mary! Hi, Kayla! Come and play!
Oh, sweetie, sweetie. Why don't you go play with those kids over there?
Why?
Imagine the power of one voice. Find yours at freedomcenter.org.
God, man! Dude, I dropped my phone. Oh, the road! Whoa! Okay.
How would you like to save your life from an ugly or reckless driving death? Don't answer yet! There's more! Act now by slowing down, and we'll guarantee you complete satisfaction! That's awesome!
In the real world, there is no spokesperson to prevent reckless driving. There's only you. Speak up.
Whoa, Andy, slow down.
Nice.
Hey guys. Ooh, I've been looking for that. Has legal seen this?
Yeah. Cheryl, what happened to your,
Oh, yeah, I know. If it gets any worse, I'll have it checked out.
worse? How could it get worse?
Yeah, maybe we should call somebody.
I'm fine.
You wouldn't ignore this, so why ignore the signs of a stroke? At the first warning signs, call 911 immediately, because time lost is brain lost.
Welcome back to CU Sports Mag. I'm sitting here with David Starcer, who is also a fellow sports magger. He also works with the Radio 1190, KVCU in Boulder, the local campus station. He also does Buff Sports Radio. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, it's a weekly radio show, student-run, just like Sports Mag is. It's every Monday night from 6 to 7 p.m. Completely edited, produced, and hosted by CU students. So we're just trying to get the word out there and get more students involved who are passionate in both sports and radio.
Right. You cover CU sports, but what else do you cover? If there's a lack of CU sports during the week, do you cover Denver Pro sports teams? Like,
Definitely. Obviously, CU sports is our main focus, football, basketball, that kind of thing. But, if there's a kind of a lack of sports or, obviously the Rockies, Nuggets, Broncos, those are always big in the Denver, Boulder area. And there's a big national story that needs to be covered, like the whole Tiger Woods saga over the summer. Right. Listeners love that stuff. So it's really what you're passionate about doing and content that it's going to get people to listen into the radio show.
That's right. So do you send people out into the field? Do you get audio footage? Like what type of things do you do?
Well, that's the one thing we're actually kind of focusing on here, Dave, here now the fall semester is getting going. We already got the in-studio stuff taken care of, so we just need people to go out there, get football interviews with coaches, players, any of the CU sports that are going on, like volleyball and soccer, and even putting together packages about the Rockies and their playoff push and things like that. So, again, it's in the basement of the UMC. Monday nights from 6 to 7. I'm in there at 3 p.m. getting going to get the show going. So we'll get you in there, and it's a good experience to get your voice on air and get involved with radio.
All right, Dave, that sounds good. Now we're going to head to Double Team, where Luke Rosemeyer and Adi Streetman are. Let's take it away, guys. Ew.
I actually like that one more, to be honest.
Yeah, it was, but I just ruined it with the closing.
take it to? You want to take it to a PSA? Matt, can we have anything queued up in a PSA at all?
It's the one we just saw, but it'll work.
That's fine.
Hold on one second.
All right, we're going to cut to camera 2. So, guys, we're coming to you because we got no audio on this. So, just, okay, a little technical difficulty. We're going to toss it to commercial, okay? All right, and take camera 2.
Toss it to break.
And we're having a little technical difficulty with that video, but we're going to send it to commercial right now. After the commercial, we have CU Club Baseball, and we'll send it to commercial.
Yeah, take it away.
We're so lost. No, I am not, man. Dude, I dropped my phone. Oh, the road! Whoa! Okay.
How would you like to save your life from an ugly, reckless driving death? Don't answer yet. There's more. Act now by slowing down, and we'll guarantee you complete satisfaction.
That's awesome!
In the real world, there is no spokesperson to prevent reckless driving. There's only you. Speak up.
Whoa, Andy, slow down.
Nice.
Hey, guys. Ooh, I've been looking for that. Has Legal seen this?
Yeah. Cheryl, what happened to your,
Oh, yeah, I know. If it gets any worse, I'll have it checked out.
Worse? How could it get worse?
Yeah, maybe we should call somebody.
I'm fine.
You wouldn't ignore this, so why ignore the signs of a stroke? At the first warning signs, call 911 immediately, because time lost is brain lost.
Listen to me just a second. We don't want to be at your party any more than you want us here.
What could we have done to avoid this?
Keep the noise down so no one complains.
Hey, guys, keep it down. The neighbors are complaining.
Make sure anyone drinking alcohol is at least 21.
You sure you're old enough?
And finally, make sure that you don't have too many people.
Man, that would have been easy. I wish I had known the rules. Now you know. Avoid trouble. Know the rules.
Don't you love that safe, free feeling you get in a pickup truck, Larry?
Yeah, nothing but you, me, the open road, a deer.
Yeah! A cow! Yeah! The village people! The village people?
You could learn a lot from a dummy. Buckle your safety belt.
Especially in pickup trucks.
I didn't know the village people were doing a road tour.
The Buffs fell one stroke short of winning the second annual State of Colorado Cup this past Monday. Despite the loss, CU won 2 of their 3 4-ball matches, led by senior Michael Imperato and Luke Simmons. A newcomer, Pat Wilson, was CU's lone victory in singles ball. The Buffs plan to compete in this weekend's Air Force Invitational at Colorado Springs at the esteemed Eisenhower Blue Golf Course. The women's golf had better luck this past week as they came out on top of the 2010 Fall Classic in Fort Collins. The team shot 1 over par, giving them their 5th win in CU history. Junior Emily Talley also matched a school record while finishing 2nd overall individually. The Buffs head down to Albuquerque this week as they tee off in the McGuire Invitational, looking to bring home another win.
CU's club baseball team has gone through a lot of changes since last season. Mike Kerner caught up with the team to see what this year has in store.
As the Buffs come out to practice for the first time this year, there is one question in everybody's mind. How will the loss of 7 starting players affect the team? Despite this loss, the Buffs picked up 10 new freshmen along with a new head coach. The Buffs are hoping these new additions will spark the team in the fall and lead them into a successful spring season.
This year we brought on Coach Puzio, and I think he's really going to, help manage the team and provide a, authoritative figure for the team. He's got some pretty good baseball knowledge that I think he can help us out with, and some fundamentals of the game that maybe some player coaches wouldn't have been able to do in the past.
Our new guys, whether they're freshmen or sophomores, juniors, doesn't matter. We're going to have the expectation that they're going to step up immediately, and they're aware of that.
We've also lost some big guys, especially on the mound, so it's going to have a lot to do with how our pitching, especially the new guys coming in, can pick up the slack for those guys. But I definitely think we have a good core of hitters, and we're definitely going to be better than last year.
Not having been around last year, I don't know what we lost. I've heard that we lost especially some talent on the mound. So we're definitely going to have some holes to fill. We've got some guys who are ready. They're ready to fill some holes. They're ready to get after it. But they understand that the learning curve is going to be pretty steep.
Some of those freshmen from last year are going to be starters this year, or definitely competing for a job if not starting. So I think the freshmen, as long as they progress and get better over the fall and especially in the spring, I think we're going to be fine.
You know, a berth at the regional certainly is in the cards this spring. We'll have to see how things go this fall. We've got some guys out. But I think a berth at regionals, and then from there, you never know. But the expectations are high.
After a successful first practice, the Buffs are confident in their new talent as well as their new coach. They're hoping to have a great fall, which will lead into a great spring, where they will hopefully make the playoffs and eventually get into the World Series. From Superior Community Fields, I'm Michael Kerner, CU Sports Mag.
So coming up after the break, we'll have the answer to that trivia question.
And Kylie Burst looks at the weekend forecast along with Luke Rosemeyer on the desk right after this break.
All right.
That was just smooth.
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today.
Good nutrition can lead to great things. Find out how a healthy lifestyle can help your child succeed.
Cups of coffee every day. They don't realize with every caffeine-filled cup, they're drinking their way to many harmful side effects. Caffeine interferes with the body's hormones, leading to... And don't forget jitteriness, upset stomachs, and disrupted sleep. With caffeine, going to the bathroom is the least of your problems.
Honey, the credit fairy doesn't exist.
What?
It's make-believe. Nobody left anything under your pillow.
If there's no credit fairy, then we'll make our credit score go up.
We will, by doing things like paying our bills on time.
There's no magic to improving your credit, but there's help, and it's free. Go to creditfairy.org.
What?
Welcome back to CU Sports Mag. We have Luke Rosemeyer, our sports guy, on the desk.
How's it going?
And he's going to talk a little bit about the fall sports scene right now, starting with women's soccer.
Right. Well, the women's soccer team has been a little up and down lately this season. They're only 500 on the season, but those 3 wins, they're 3-3. Those 3 wins have only come against Washington State, Northern Colorado, and Wyoming. That's not exactly high caliber opposition, is it? Mm-hmm. So they've gone down to some teams like Denver and Gonzaga in the tournament out in Washington last weekend. But thankfully, they've got a chance to turn things around this weekend before they start Big 12 conference play. They've got their own invitational tournament, and they're bringing Purdue and UCLA here. They're playing Purdue on Friday. The Boilermakers taking them on. That's a Big Ten opponent. You know, that conference is always going to be solid, pretty much in every sport, especially soccer. A school like Purdue cannot be overlooked. And then UCLA, future conference opponent. Mm-hmm. They're ranked this year, top 25. That'll definitely be a tough challenge for the Buffs to take on before they start conference play. Kate Russell, she was our Athlete of the Week. She's been really controlling the midfield. She's been doing a really good job. And then also Kim Lowry, she's been playing everywhere. She's scored 2 goals, 2 assists already. She's been playing defense. She's been playing midfield, forward, distributing, tackling, pretty much anything you could ask for. So they're doing an okay job of moving past that departure of Nikki Marshall to the pros. She was obviously one of CU's greatest soccer players of all time. So that's going to be a tough loss. But Bill Hempen, I think, is doing a really good job with them.
Yeah. And after the tough loss at Cal, the football team comes home and they got Hawaii coming in. How do you think we're going to bounce back?
Well, it's kind of a quandary. You really don't know how this is going to go because, I mean, you look at week 1, the defense shut down Colorado State. Only 3 points, only a few first downs, but really you got to think, how good was Colorado State, you know?
Yeah.
And then we go out to Cal, another future conference opponent, and what happened, right? Did anybody expect that? I don't think so.
No.
I think when it comes down to it, there was mental errors. We had 5 turnovers, 9 penalties, over 100 yards of penalties against Colorado State. Against Hawaii, this is tough because they put up 36 points against USC, so it's really tough to say how it's going to go. So I think the defense needs to keep their level of play high, and the offense really needs to get their stuff together.
Right. All right. Thanks, Luke.
Yep.
Thanks, Luke. All right. Surfing, beaches, and palm trees usually come to mind when you think about Hawaii. But what about their football team? CU Sports Mag's Lizzie hit the campus to see what CU knows about the University of Hawaii.
Thanks, guys. We're just here on campus today, and we're going to see what some of the students know about the upcoming Hawaii game this weekend. Let's see what we got. Do you know what former CU standout is being honored at the Hawaii game?
I have no idea.
No, I don't. No.
Alfred Williams.
Do you know why CU football is wearing throwback uniforms this season?
No, I don't.
Do you know why CU football is wearing throwback uniforms this season?
No, I don't.
Because they're trying to get back in the theme of old CU football and in the past how we were good and stuff, and now we're not.
Yes, because they won the national title in '90, and they're doing a thing to commemorate that season.
Do you know what island the University of Hawaii is on?
No.
Maui? I don't know.
I'm guessing the big one.
Oahu.
Good job. What conference does Hawaii play in?
I don't know. The Big 10? 12?
Nope.
The Pac-10?
I don't know. It all just changed. All the conferences just changed. I'm not sure anymore.
The WAC.
Looks like CU students have some studying to do before the game this weekend. For CU Sports Mag, Lizzie Bird, back to you guys.
All right, everybody, I hope you have your oven gloves ready because we're coming in hot with that trivia answer. Just to refresh your memory, the question was, who was the first player for Colorado to be inducted into the College Football Hall of Fame? And that answer is Mr. Byron Wright in 1952. Oh, boy.
Kylie Burse has the weekend's forecast. Take it away, Kylie.
Thanks, David and Andy. We've had a beautiful week of weather here in Boulder. It's almost been like summer, and it's already mid-September. Now, are those temperatures going to stay as hot as they have been, or are we starting to look at a cool front? Unfortunately, we are sticking to those hotter temperatures. Taking a look at the national map, you can see that we do have this big high-pressure system over Colorado and the stationary front moving through, which means that we have no cloud coverage that's going to be coming in, maybe just a little bit, but that stationary front means that we're going to have this weather for a good part of the weekend, maybe continuing into next week. Who knows? It could get a little bit crazy. You know how Boulder weather can be. As far as temperatures go, we're still looking hot. Now, we may not be as hot as down here in Southern California and Arizona range, but we are still looking at almost into the 80s, and almost into the 90s. Boulder specifically, we are looking pretty hot. As you can see, temperatures all in the 80s. Lows are only dipping down into the 50s and upper 40s, which isn't bad for this time of year. It's definitely still very warm. This could be a great time to get out there and really do some of those things that maybe you missed in summer that you really still want to get done before the cold weather comes in. For those of you hanging out in game day, now we are looking great. It is going to be hot again, and the game starts right at 1:30 in the afternoon, which means that that's in the middle of the day when it's going to be hottest. It's going to be 88 degrees throughout that day, possibly even reaching 90. So make sure that you are wearing your hat, drinking your water. It's going to be a hot one. The Broncos are also in town this weekend. They are playing the Seahawks. Now it's going to be hot for them too. Maybe a few of you who were at the CSU game a few weeks ago, remember how hot it was? It's going to be just like that. So make sure that you're really keep an eye out, keep wearing that hat, wearing all those the lighter layers, so that way you aren't overheating out on the field. Now the Rockies are going to LA, and strange strangely enough, it's actually cooler there. Their high is only about 79 with a low of 59. Not bad for them at all. So the Rockies are actually going to have a cool-off time. So Friday night they're playing, and then Saturday and Sunday around 2 o'clock if you want to catch them on TV, and they'll be enjoying those cooler temperatures, and you can hang out inside with your air.
Thank you, Kylie.
For David LaRose, I'm Andy McDonald. See you guys next week.